Hey you, thanks for stopping by. Welcome back to another disturbing manga review. Today I will be talking about Shoujo Tsubaki, or as it is called in the English version, Mr. Arashi's Amazing Freak Show. I'm sure you know about the anime adaptation that is known as one of the most disturbing anime ever made. It was banned in many countries including Japan. We'll get to it. I don't just want to talk about the manga. I also want to talk about the anime Midori from 1992 and the live-action film from 2016. What's the story about? Here is a synopsis from Goodreads. Quote, "The series is about an orphan girl named Midori, whom is taken in, enslaved by a traveling freak show. The freak show includes such unsavory characters as a mummyman, a snake woman, and a drooling man with no limbs. The owner of the freak show, the eponymous Mr. Arashi, is a strict man who allows his freaks very little freedom or joy in life. He is especially cruel to Midori. Midori works not as a freak since she is normal, but as a sort of caretaker of the freaks." Unquote. The manga is by Suehiro Maruo. I hope I said that correctly. He's made many manga that I might talk about one day. Aside from manga, he makes illustrations for clothing and magazines. I'm surprised it took me this long to cover such a well-known disturbing manga. The story behind the making of the anime is also interesting. I went down a rabbit hole. How disturbing is Shoujo Tsubaki? Let's talk about it. The manga is about a girl named Midori. Shoujo Tsubaki translates to the Camellia Girl or Girl of the Camellias. She is a 12-year-old girl who sells flowers on the streets. Her father left the family and her mother is sick. A man comes by and tells her he owns a circus, and if she is in any trouble to come to him. He buys all her flowers. She goes home to tell her mother the good news, but to her horror, she's dead and being eaten by mice. With nowhere else to go, she goes to the address Mr. Arashi gave her, which is a circus called the Red Cat. The performers consist of a snake woman, a mummy man, a sword swallower, a fire breather, and 2 people with deformities. One of them has no arms or legs. No, not Sairan. They assault Midori. She's laying on the ground bleeding down there. She tells herself she wants to go on a picnic. Poor thing. She doesn't want to be there and tries to escape it mentally. From then on, they treat her like a servant. One night, Midori wakes up to see the performers having a 3-way. She goes to the other room to see Mr. Arashi licking Kanabun's eyeballs. One day, she discovers puppies living under a shrine. She feeds them and plays with them. When she leaves, Kanabun, one of the performers, kills the puppies by stomping on them and throwing them to the ground. He killed those puppies like they were made of glass. I instantly hate this character.
This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
Later that night, everyone is eating meat. They ask how Kanabun could afford meat. Kanabun responds that you can't buy dog meat, upsetting Midori. During winter, Midori watches the train leave, wishing she could escape before the snake lady hits her on the head. During one cold night, Mummy Man comes into her room and forces himself on her. One day, she catches Kanabun peeing and realizes he's a boy. He laughs and pulls out his dong in front of her. Midori's neck begins to stretch and twist. What in the Junji Ito is going on? I guess it symbolizes her losing her mind. One day, Midori is tasked with giving one of the performers a bath. This character has a long twisted neck. My neck hurts from looking at this. She's disgusted, calls them monsters, and tries to leave, but is stopped. They punish her by stripping her and humiliating her. One day, Midori wakes up from a nightmare. She has a fever. Meanwhile, Mr. Arashi gets worried since the circus isn't making enough money. He hires a new act, a dwarf named Masamitsu, who knows Western magic and can squeeze himself into a bottle. Midori is the only one who's impressed. He takes an interest in the girl. He performs tricks for her. He kisses her, then asks for a kiss back. Before long, they begin a relationship. He takes Midori to this field of flowers. For the first time in a long time, someone is treating her well. Then they turn into dragonflies. Some sort of symbolism I don't quite get. I guess it means they've become one. I keep wanting to call Masamitsu Mamacita because it's spelled similarly. When it's time for Masamitsu to perform for the first time, a large crowd shows up. What's funny is the mummy man performs a trick where he fires an arrow with his feet, but the crowd just throws food at him. They want the magic man. He performs the bottle trick with Midori as his assistant. Not long after, they get their picture taken. They are now a couple. Remember, she's 12. They go for a stroll by the pier. Midori is doing her makeup when the performers get angry. She's not doing her chores. They get into a fight. The sword swallower throws her. Midori then grows bigger and bigger, breaking the tent. Then she goes back to normal. Masamitsu lets everyone know he's in charge and to leave her alone. The mummy man becomes angry as he wants Midori for himself. When she's alone, he goes up to her, saying they should be friends again. Masamitsu overhears this and punishes the mummy man by sinking him in quicksand. Masamitsu appears as the mummy man and says, "Give me your hand." "Oh, that's right, you don't have any." "Oh, damn." Later, when everyone is mourning the mummy man's death, Masamitsu looks to Midori, who runs away in fear. He realizes she saw everything. He tells her it was all for her, to protect her. He chases her in the rain. Because nothing says sad like chasing someone in the rain. Sometime later, a movie producer comes and says he would like for Midori to star in their new film. He says she will be treated like a princess. He gives her his card. Masamitsu rips the card. On the one hand, he could be trying to protect her so she isn't taken advantage of, but on the other hand, he could be controlling her. Later, he goes to comfort Midori, who is under the covers, but finds she was trying to piece together the business card. He gets angry and uses his magic to trap her in the blanket. He goes out to perform in a bad mood, and it doesn't help that the crowd heckles him. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. He loses his temper and uses his magic to terrorize the crowd. They become deformed. What in the Junji Ito is going on? Their limbs contort, one guy's balls get huge, and they grow humps. The circus is forced to close. Later on, when he's calmed down, Masamitsu announces he's leaving. He asks Midori to come with him, and they reconcile. Masamitsu uses his magic to make Midori happy. He transports her to a better place. She happily skips through the streets. In this place, she is still with both her parents. For that moment, she felt like a normal girl. More bad news for the circus, as not only is their best act leaving, but Mr. Arashi ran off with all their money. Masamitsu and Midori say goodbye to everyone. After everything they put her through, she was still kind to them. She never asked Masamitsu to get back at them. They just say farewell like they always got along. I'm surprised the magician didn't torture them for what they put her through. Kanabun cuts off his ponytail and tearfully waves goodbye to them. Where was this guy when you killed her dogs? I want to add that even though Masamitsu treated her better than the circus people, he's not the hero of the story. He's an adult who pursued a child. She's 12, not even a teenager yet. He looks like he could be 40 or 50. Poor Midori had no options. She couldn't escape the circus. She could either stay with the people who treat her like a servant, or go with an older man who's controlling. But he knows magic and can protect her and has money. While they wait for the bus, Masamitsu goes to buy lunch while Midori waits for him. He buys apples when he witnesses a robbery. A man fatally stabbed, and then he gets stabbed. His magic couldn't save him this time. The bus comes and goes, and Midori worries where he is. She goes looking for him through the streets, passing an abandoned church. A man walks by carrying a box on his back. At first I thought it was the robber who changed his clothes and he was carrying Masamitsu's body in the box. She wonders where he is. She sees Masamitsu and the rest of the circus and her parents laughing at her. She thinks she's been abandoned again. Her shock turns to anger. She takes a stick and tries to hit them. She tries to get rid of everyone who wronged her. Suddenly, she is alone in a white space. She cries. She has nothing. She has no one. A lot of people interpret this scene as Midori having a mental breakdown, and I agree. There are also theories that the magician put a spell on her before she died, that she is stuck in a loop and forced to relive her trauma. That sounds worse. Let me know what you think. That was Shoujo Tsubaki. Let's get to the anime. In 1992, an anime film was released. It was possible due to one man, Hiroshi Harada. He financed it with his own money because no studio wanted to make it due to its extreme violence. He also animated, directed, and wrote the screenplay. No matter what you think of the anime, I admire that he was passionate enough about this manga to put everything into making it. He was like, I'll do it myself. I love the backgrounds. I love this old animation. The scenes look like they were taken right out of the manga. He captured Maruo's art style. The animation is limited at times, like still shots, lines to indicate movement. I like this one scene where Masamitsu glides across the screen as people are being tortured. Whee! The soundtrack captures the feeling of hopelessness and panic that Midori is experiencing, like when she was looking for Masamitsu. It's so good, but I had to stop listening to it because it was making me feel sad. The voice actor for Midori, Minako Naka, does a great job. At the end, when Midori imagines the circus people laughing at her and she cries, it was convincing. It was convincing and is uncomfortable to listen to. The ending song implies Midori took her own life. I learned that there was an alternate ending that was storyboarded but never animated. In this one, Midori goes back to the circus, but it gets bombed. I'll link the website where you can find it in the description. I also read it was supposed to be longer, like a feature film, but that couldn't happen due to budget. While doing research, discovered when Harada would screen the movie, he would make it an event. I mean, build a theater to look like a circus, have performers like a guy blowing fire, and then give a speech before playing the movie. That what you are about to watch is a banned film, and it was. I will link the video as well. There's rumors that it will get a Blu-ray release in the future. I'm not sure when though. Now let's talk about the 2016 movie. The 2016 movie called Midori the Camellia Girl stars Risa Nakamura as Midori and Shunsuke Kazama as Masamitsu. I thought the film was okay and a fun watch. This movie felt lighthearted compared to the anime. While it's a faithful adaptation, it's not as tragic as the anime. And you're wondering, how can that be if it adapts all the dark moments from the manga, including the dog scene, Midori getting essayed, and the characters getting killed? The scenes are executed in a way where I can't take it seriously. It looks fake. While I do like the costumes, it looks like someone is cosplaying those characters. That doesn't mean there aren't things I enjoyed about it. I still love the outfits, the bright colors and sets. Instead of being set after World War II, it's set in the modern day. I think that was a bad choice. Midori represents the Japanese people who struggled to rebuild their lives after the war. yet we're hopeful for a better future. It's not a period piece anymore. Changing the time takes away the tragic backstory. Sometimes the violence isn't shown, like the dog scene. We see the top of Kanabun stomping, but it doesn't show the bloody aftermath, leaving it to our imagination. Which I'm fine with. I don't need to see the violent aftermath, even if it's fake. Everyone looks like their characters except Kanabun. The front of his hair is white, almost gray, while his ponytail is black. I guess to make the character stand out? Someone on Reddit also asked about it. Also, there's a Shoujo Tsubaki subreddit? Speaking of how the characters look, Midori wears high heels. In the scene where she is walking with Masamitsu, she is a little bit taller than him, because he's a dwarf, and that's when it made sense to me why she wears those shoes. Instead of the caterpillar man and the guy with the broken neck, we have these two characters. A guy stuffed into a sleeping bag to look like the caterpillar man, and a little person dressed as a bug. The movie is about 90 minutes, whereas the anime is about 50 minutes. The movie adds scenes that I am fine with, and some not so much. One scene I liked was Kanabun, who gets consequences for his actions. In one scene, the circus wants to perform in the city, but they don't have permission to be there. Mr. Arashi goes to Masamitsu for help, who tells him he needs permission from an official. This official likes boys, so Kanabun must do a special favor for this guy, if you know what I mean. Kanabun is angry for doing this favor, and takes it out on Midori, saying everything got weird after she came and tried to stab her. Masamitsu stops it by causing Kanabun to hallucinate. He sees a bigger version of himself that stomps on him like what he did to the dogs. Finally, he gets a taste of his own medicine. Also, the way the actor talks creeped me out a little. Something about hearing him trying to sound like a boy. I thought the characters Kanabun and Midori were aged up since their actors are adults. Risa Nakamura was 27 and Takeru was 29 when the movie came out. Kanabun is still called a boy, so these are adults playing children. I'm glad they cast adults in this case for the dark moments. I didn't like how they changed the ending slightly. When Midori and Masamitsu leave the circus, he doesn't get killed. He lets Midori follow her dream of being an actress. Maybe the writers wanted Midori to have a bit of happiness and show that Masamitsu wasn't controlling. At first she isn't good, but he uses his magic to make her better, and producers want to work with her. She gets to be a famous actress, but after a while she gets bored of it. Also, every time Masamitsu uses his magic, he gets older and weaker. She tells him she wants his powers. He does it, but he dies. And then Midori sees the circus people laughing at her. As I said earlier, despite adapting the disturbing moments from the manga, I didn't find it disturbing. Let me show you an example. At the end of the story, when Midori sees the circus people laughing at her, the acting, the music, and the visuals in the anime and the live action left me feeling different things. Here, watch for yourself. The movie was still a fun watch. Just go into it thinking it's a light-hearted version of the manga. It can be cheesy and funny. Despite saying that I didn't like it, I don't hate it. That was the film, now let's get to my thoughts. As usual, I like to include what others thought of this manga. Let's read some comments. The good, the bad, and the ugly. There's manga, and then there's uber weird manga. Suhiro Maruo is a genius as far as I can tell. Super sexual, super violent, and super weird, with a very retro style of drawing and coloring. Maruo lets his imagination go wild, and it's scary at times. But one has to buckle in their seat and go on the wild ride. And every time I go to Japan, I try to locate more of his books. He's a fantastic artist, and it would be great if there was some sort of retrospective of his work, either in book form or in a gallery. I think he's an important Japanese post-war artist who works in the manga world. This was my first Goro manga I ever read. The story was very enticing and bittersweet. Poor is forced to grow up at such a young age, witness and endure so many horrible things in her young life that when she finally tastes happiness, it almost seems too good to be true, and it is. 2 stars, only for the art style, because it was stunning. The rest of the manga? Well, it was stupid, disgusting, and didn't make any sense. That was interesting. I have heard how dark this manga, and especially its anime adaptation, is. Apart from the Ero Guro and Midori's abuse, which disgusted me, I found this to be, at its core, a very sad story. I won't go into spoilers because I think it is worth a shot to read it, especially if you are someone who can handle reading about very dark situations. Mr. Arashi's amazing freak show is, in a nutshell, a sad fairy tale. From all this abuse at the start of the manga, at some point, things seem to have gotten better for Midori, only for things to take a turn again for the worse. On another note, the drawings were beautiful. The style brought me back to an era long gone. Some illustrations were done so professionally, I thought at a moment I was reading an art book and not a manga. This is pure psychological torture. If I interpreted it correctly, it's supposed to be a criticism of abuse and severe bullying. The book was full of non-stop abuse and torture, but there was really no story to be found to add depth to it. It was just a bunch of sickening images flashing across the pages, one after the other, and then it suddenly ends. It was disturbing and horrific, but ultimately pointless and devoid of much substance. I really enjoyed most of the artwork, but man, the sexualization of a 12-year-old was difficult to stomach. The tone of the work itself was weird, and I love manga weird. But combining that with the relationship between a little person and a 12-year-old made me a bit nauseous. I tried to ignore it and concentrate on the artwork, but when she is constantly about to get essayed and shown being stripped and beaten, it became pretty evident that I didn't want it in my permanent collection. Which sucks, because the artwork is astounding. But man, can't say I am in a rush to read it again. I don't know, this was weird. But from how everyone was talking about this, being banned and everything, it was pretty tame. The nasty and really disturbing thing was the minor attraction and the essay. But the rest was pretty amazing art. Am I really being desensitized from all this nasty-ish? Also, what did that ending mean? I don't understand. I mean, I see what the author was trying to do, but she is 12! If you like this video, then consider liking, subscribing, or sharing. What are your thoughts on Shoujo Tsubaki? Did you enjoy the anime? Did you enjoy the live-action film? Which manga should I review next? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for stopping by! you.